Hey!
Hello, hello, hello. I didn't even do my little dance to the music this time. I couldn't get the brightness on my computer to do what I needed it to do. It's like my computer's attacking me today. That's all I can say. Um, it has attacked me a couple of times today.
It happens, I get it. Um,
Yeah,
as I yawn, I
I was
am
gonna
super
say that
excited
is.
for today's topic.
Are you now?
Yeah,
Ah.
so so excited for today's topic. Go ahead, Sarah. What is today's topic?
So I usually don't like to use this word because but it is the theme of my day, and it is stupid people, just in general. But, and I don't even mean that they're stupid. Usually people are just a little bit stupid in a certain instance, and it drives me crazy. And so today was my like a customer service thing for me. I had a I had an online recording platform that I had to use, and I'm not going to say what it is because it's probably just me, but I had to call and ask for some help on this. And the end result, literally, she helped me with a little bit, and she goes, "Now, when you're ready to upload, that's weird too. You're going to have to call us back." And I'm just like, so let me get this straight. Not only does your service not work to log into and set up the trial account, but then when I need to upload it, I'm going to have to call you back and wait in queue again. Like, maybe there's something wrong with your product. And I didn't have time to deal with it today. And it was just, oh my gosh, just stupid customer service, I guess is my. And I felt bad for her because she didn't write the code. You know what I mean? She's just the person trying to help me. And that leads me to being resilient in the face of bad customer service or bad client care. And before we got on here, you did say you had a lot of examples. So what is your example of bad customer service or client care recently?
Um, I think I think that it really comes into a space of acknowledgement, and it comes into a space of resources.
Sure.
It's no joke. We all know I work weekends and I work for a call center that
Hmm.
answers calls for over 500 companies. So depending on the company, depends on how the account gets set up.
Okay.
And
Makes sense.
they get to choose what they call urgent. They get to choose what gets
I could
dispatched
already
urgently.
see.
Yeah. So they get to choose things, and we have to go by what they chose. Which, as the person who is the middle between the customer and the business, and not only am I a person in the middle, but I am personally a business owner. When I reach out to shift leads and say, "Hey, this script doesn't go the way I want it to because I
Hmm.
want to take care of this," their response is, "That's how it was set up, and that's what we have to do." And so there's a lot of different tweaks, and I really love Answer First because there are some companies that have chosen to hide behind us, and Answer First is combating that a lot now, like who's hiding and who's actually responding. And they've given us some, hey, we think our team is elevating this because of these reasons. We feel like they're outside of that scope.
Sure.
But for a while, it was, what does the client set up? And I think we come into that space of sometimes sometimes people call and they call in with, "Nobody's called me back, nobody's this, nobody's that," and they're
The world
irate
is ending.
and
Right.
the world is angry. And it's not necessarily because they were ignored.
No.
It's because it wasn't timely enough for them, right? And then you have
Mhm.
people who, if their AC is broken and I ask them if it's an emergency, they can't decide because first world problems. And I'm like, if you're hot, it's an emergency. Um, but it really comes into what space are you at? But also, like you said, you were dealing with a third person, not the person who built it, not the person who did that. And so when you're on the phone with a secretary, with a call service, with a somebody, and I'm guilty of this plenty of times because I have called customer service and I have said, these are the steps I have had to do with previous people because I call for this same issue all the time. And that customer service rep did not know how to follow those steps. And I was like, I told you the steps because I have them written down. Get me to a manager. But at the flip side of that, I was lucky enough to have the customer service person who knew how to manage that, knew how to give me those steps so that we
Sure.
could manage moving forward. So there's a level of working inside of the lines and working inside of the lines, but at a higher level so you can properly help people. And sometimes those aren't advantages that people have. And so it really, one of the biggest things in IT, did you turn it off?
Oh,
Did you turn it on? Any key, right? Did you reset? The difference between a restart and a power off are huge.
huge.
And I did not realize that, but they're huge differences
Well, the
and they
concept
create
is that
different
your
things.
computer can't completely turn off if it's restarting, right? There has to be something left on in there. And yeah, but the thing is that either way, the person asking you, did you turn off your computer? Is did you power down, right? It's not their fault, right? Now, there's one caveat to this, and I can tell a bunch of horror stories and I will call them out because I'm not the only person who does. There's whole YouTube channels about how bad Comcast is. Okay. But for the most part, I I don't blame the person I'm talking to, right? It is not their fault that they have to follow a policy. And uh now I can't think of his name. Simon Sinek, right? Is that his first name Simon? Last name Sinek, I think. Anyways, he does videos and somebody will correct me someday if they ever watch this video. But he does this whole spiel about how while people uh hate and love Southwest Airlines, they're actually the best place to work because they give their employees the ability to be good customer service people, right? They don't have to be like, well, you're in lane B, so you have to, wait till the very end. You can just board and find a seat, right? Just based on your little category number, just find a seat and shut up. And it's great, right? Because they give the ability to be a good customer service person. And I think some of these companies don't give that leeway,
Yep.
right? They don't give the leeway to actually take each customer for what they are. But I want to talk more about the resilience of you as a person. Not you, I mean you, humans as a person. Um, we choose our reaction, right? And now we can all look back in our lives when we were a Karen, right? And we regretted that day. We look back and we're like, I hope I never have to talk to Molly again because I regret how I was to Molly, right? But we learn from those things. And part of resilience in life is looking at people for where they are right then and not just where you were. And so, like this morning, I was so mad. I had to submit a thing by a certain deadline. And I waited until 3 hours before my deadline to figure out that I didn't know how to use the system. Is that her fault or my fault? Right?
Yep.
It's definitively my fault. If I would have looked at my requirements on Monday and been like, I have never heard of this system before, right? I would have started the process way earlier, or maybe not and still went to this day, but it still would have been my fault.
I was going to say I would have done the same thing because I can normally open up any system and they are within inches of each other and you can navigate. And if
Yeah,
there's something off, you can figure out where that off is. So, yeah, I would have done the same thing. I'd have been like, oh, a program, great.
great. Right. I record videos all the time. Why is this such a big deal? Right. And so it was very much, I had to get out of my own head and not blame this poor girl, right? For not being able to solve my issue in a timely manner. Um, and it goes the same thing like plumbing people. If you call for a plumber in the middle of the night and it tells you it's going to take 3 hours to get there, you know what? It's not his fault your plumbing broke in the middle of the night, right? Like it's not. Go turn
Yeah.
off your water and sit in the dark for a while and watch TV with your feet in water. I don't know what you're going to do, but um like it's not his fault. And so part of resilience is knowing that you control those reactions. And our stories today are all about customer service, but really is controlling your reactions to anything, right? You and I both have teenagers, right? If we reacted the way we wanted to react to everything the teenagers did, right? We would probably not be allowed to have teenagers in our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. And you learn that with being a parent, right? You have to be that, okay, I'm going to control that reaction. And sometimes we have to take those same lessons and apply it to outside of our house too.
Well, and we've had that conversation of baby shaken baby syndrome. That's not in relation to the child that you are shaking. That is
No,
in relation to your mentality in that moment.
correct.
You have that when you're on the phone with somebody and you just want to wrangle them, or you are looking at your 15-year-old like, what do you mean? Those are
Right,
internal. It is internally baby shaken syndrome. You want to shake whatever is in front of you because you cannot manage that space in that time. And you
right.
do need to take a breath,
And two
hold
steps back.
on.
Hmm.
And I mean, I've started conversations with customer service people saying, I know my tone sounds very obnoxious,
And that's how I started my
and it's
call this
not your
morning.
fault.
I literally said, I've been trying to figure this out for about an hour and I've been waiting on the call for about 20 minutes. I'm not upset with you. I'm just frustrated with my situation. And she literally did a little laugh. She's like, it's fine. What can I help you with? You know what I'm saying? And it was
Yeah.
like, I know I'm going to come across a little Karenish. I want to say the B word, but we want to make this, family friendly.
Yeah.
So,
We want 16
um,
year olds to build their business properly.
right, exactly. And so, yeah, yeah,
But that's the truth, is it really is taking that breath and just and acknowledging the person on the phone. Thank you for taking your patience with me. Thank you for understanding. Sorry I was a Karen. Thank you for completing this for me.
exactly, exactly. Um, and the final thing is not to get upset when they say they have to escalate. That's my last thing. Um, is a lot of times people think that the person answering the call is going to be the end all be all answer to their um, problem. And those people that think that have never worked a call center.
Yep, and I'm the
Okay.
opposite of that. I will directly say, "I think that this issue is something, please escalate it." And when they try to troubleshoot it and then they get to the escalation, I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I called
I
that.
told you that at the beginning.
I
Right.
already called that." But I do get very angry when they do escalate and the answer is the same,
Oh, I
right?
need to tell you a quick story though, because I used to work for a credit card processing call center. And I'm telling you right now, I'll pretend I'm on the phone. Hey, yeah, you know what? You want that escalated? Sure. Hey, Susie, pretend. And you just hand it to the girl next to you. No, but 90% of calls aren't actually escalated.
Yep, exactly. And that's where it comes into that frustration of, no, I directly have an issue. I do
Yeah.
need a manager. I do need an override. And that goes back to the beginning of the conversation where we were talking about how much leeway do you give people, because there are situations where there's something happening. And if they don't have the support to manage something as it's happening,
Yeah.
your customers then I we've talked about Comcast. They were the people who didn't send the boom truck when I told them to, and they had 5 appointments. 5.
Yeah.
that clearly stated boom truck needed and did not show up with it. So really, what are we looking at, and how as business people can we look at those gaps? Where are we not properly serving people? Where are we
Sure.
not doing these things, and where are we not supporting our team? Because our team has to support the customers, our team has to support the clients. And where are we cutting them off at the knees? Or, is there an escalation plan so that there is somebody available who can help and can give
Yeah.
us a different space?
I agree. I agree. Um, Now I think with our two companies, there's very little escalation. When it's a coaching or a consulting concept and it's, one, two, three, four people, there's little to there was nobody to escalate to, right? Um, but we are going to grow, right? Our ideal situation is to not just be um, as small as we are today. And so, if you start thinking about how you would want to support your customers when there is a call center, when there is a larger platform like you have, eventually, I'm sure you have a number in your head, and I don't know what that is, but eventually you're going to have to hit a number where you have somebody that moderates your platform.
It's 25 at 50 at 35 people per group, which I just want to say this because I've realized it today. We have 22 people in the free group accountability
That's great.
chat. And my goal is every 35 we take 15 and start a new chat. And we put
Oh, sure.
somebody to admin that new chat. So at 35, we'll take out the top, the last 15, leave 20, and then start and start and start and kind of grow it that way.
And you just answered the question we had. Do you have a plan to handle customer service as you grow? And there will be some glitches in the matrix, right?
Yeah.
But you have a solid plan. This is what we're going to do, and we're going to make that happen when I hit number 35, right?
Yeah.
And by the sounds of it, you just added another one today. That makes 23, or was that 22?
That was right at 22.
Okay, so 22 was today. I mean, you're going to get to 35 pretty gosh darn quick.
Yep.
Okay, and so having that plan is the key. So resilience. Our topic today is take 5 steps back when you're talking to customer service people, and then do some reflection on how your customer service is and what you need to do as you grow.
Exactly. And
So,
I know that Jeanette normally watches us, and I didn't see her pop on, but she has amazing customer service. So hopefully I can
she does.
utilize a lot of what she does inside of what I do. And I'm just
She does.
popping her in there because I know if she missed this, she's going to be mad. Um, but I appreciate everybody so very much. Sarah, wrap us up.
I just kind of did wrap us up. I think we did great. Oh, I forgot
QR
this
code.
wrap up.
That wrap up.
Go
QR
look
code.
at our QR codes wherever they are. I swear to God, they change every single week. No, they
I
don't. But
know they really
um,
don't.
but we
But
could
yeah,
do Vogue. That's fine.
go. I like the
Um,
Vogan. But go QR code with us if you liked this conversation. We are on episode 16,
oh my
if
goodness,
my count is right. So go look
I'm
at the
sure.
other ones. I'm sure, and we're gonna start back at 1 in January, just so I don't feel old. Um,
So I don't feel old. Here's the problem. If you're old, then what
season
am I?
two.
All right.
Season 2 in January.
Sounds good. Season 2.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. But go watch our previous videos. We do really care about you, your business, and your clients.
Agree.